Hi all, welcome to our other video in the movement series. For today, we'll be showing you how to create an image of the sky snowing for your Scratch program. So this is actually how it would look like as the final outcome once you have actually coded everything. So let's get right to the tutorial. In order to start our programming for the snowflakes, so what we'll do is that we actually need to create a snowflake first. So I've already created one for the purpose of the tutorial today. So what you'll see is that it's actually white in color, but if I just sort of highlight this, is that the sprite that I created is actually quite simple. It's actually just created from a combination of geometrical shapes that you can actually get from the panel that you see on your left here. So using the squares and just actually reshaping it, and then with a combination of that, you'll be able to create this snowflake itself. So we won't be spending time on how to create this sprite. We'll be focusing on actually how to create the falling movement of these snowflakes. So let's just get right to it, to the coding itself. But what we'll do is that we'll start with the event block first. So when the green flag is clicked, what's going to happen? So because there'll be multiple snowflakes falling from the sky, so what we'll do is that we'll actually create a forever loop instruction for it to create a clone of itself. Once we have the block for this, we'll need to create the instruction block so that the clones which are created, they actually know what to do. So we'll take when I start as a clone, and then what I want to do is that I want my snowflakes to actually start falling from the sky. So the Y position here should be fixed, and it needs to fall to the bottom. So the Y position at the bottom is also fixed. So for me, I want a very smooth way of my snowflakes falling down, so I will actually use glide instead of a go-to. So I'll use a go-to as well, because when I actually get my sprites to start as a clone, I want it to go to a specific position at the top but glide to a specific position at the bottom, so it's a bit smoother and not so unnatural. So we'll get this go-to, and then we will add the glide as well. Let's adjust the position that it needs to go to. Because it's snowing, it's obviously going to be random, so the snowflakes are going to fall from various positions from the top of the sky. So we'll keep our x-axis random. So what happens is that I want my snowflake here to fall from any position from the top of the sky. So the x can be random, so I will just randomize it so that it can start from the other end of the right or the other end of the left. So a negative 240, let's say, and a positive 240, and the Y position is fixed at 180, which is at the top. And then similarly, for it to glide, 1 second is quite fast. I'm going to keep it at 3 seconds, so it'll take 3 seconds to glide to the bottom. So the Y position, as I mentioned, can be fixed because the wind will blow the snowflake and it can actually fall to any position to the bottom. Even if it starts from, like, let's say this side, it might fall this way. If we program it to fall downwards like this, it might look quite unnatural. So we'll just keep the X position at the bottom randomized as well. So I'm just going to randomize it at negative 240 and also 240 here, right? So you see that when I click this, nothing happens, and that's because we need to instruct the sprite to actually show itself. So let's add a show block here when I start as a clone. So let's see what happens here. There you see, so my sprite is actually duplicating itself and falling right to the bottom. So that's what we want to see happening, and it's actually randomized as well. What shouldn't happen is that these snowflakes shouldn't stack at the bottom. So what we can do to actually prevent that is to add the height block. So let's do that. It's falling down and it's disappearing, but there's too many snowflakes here, so I want there to be a gap every time they actually clone itself. So I'm just going to add a weight as well. Let's make it weight maybe 0.5. I think 0.5 sounds good. Yep. So you see, this slows down the duplication and the cloning of the sprite. It doesn't look like, there's like a crazy snowfall coming down. So if we want to improve or make this look prettier, we can actually change the size of these sprites. So it'll be quite nice, because then you have different shapes of your snowflakes falling down. So what we can do is that we can look for a look block, and then we can say change size by a certain amount. So we can put this here. So once it goes to a position at the top, and then the size changes as well. So I will pick any random number. I'm just going to put a negative 30 to 30, let's say. So if I put like 3000, it'll be crazy big. So I've got different shapes now falling down. So I quite like this. And I think what I can do to make this even prettier is that I can actually make the snowflakes rotate as well. So let's just do that too. So what I can do is that I'll add another instruction block so that my sprites know additionally what happens at the same time when it's sort of gliding down. So I'm going to make it rotate really smoothly. So what we'll do is that we'll add a show as well over here, and then I'm going to add a forever loop turn. So you can use any direction, it could be rotating to the right or left, it doesn't really matter. So as you can see here, when I added this rotation here on a forever loop, it rotates really fast but smoother now. And I'm going to add a weight as well. You don't really have to add the weight, but I just like to add the weight so that it's a bit slower and it's a bit more graceful the way it falls down. So there you go. This will be the final product of our tutorial today. So I hope you'll get to try this out. If this is helpful, then please do hit like and subscribe. Thank you.